Hello friends, welcome to this video. This is Rohit. Friends, in today's video we are going to talk about the concept of intent in Android. So first of all, we will understand what intents are exactly. Then we will try to understand what different functions or methods that are used for invoking these intents. Then we will understand the types of intents with practical demonstration. And at last I will try to show you how we can pass data between intents. So let's start today's video by understanding the what exactly the Android application is. So Android application can be viewed as a collection of activities. So depend on for what purpose the Android application is available. The activities may be less or more. The number of activities may be less or more. So if your app has more functionalities, there are chances that your app will have more number of activities. So what activities are exactly? Activities can be viewed as a single screen that user try to see, that user try to interact. So for example, here I will show you. So to demonstrate, I will open this basic math application. Now friends, here on your screen you can see this is a single activity. This is a single screen which user is able to see. Now here in this application, if I tab on addition, then it will open another screen. It will open another activity. Like you can see here, this is another activity which get open whenever we tab on addition operation. If I go back, now here if I tab on subtraction button, then it is opening this another screen. This is another activity. Likewise, in this application, total number of activities will be 5. Now if you have noticed here friends, we are switching from this main screen to addition operation screen. Okay, this is how these activities are linked with each other. So you will be able to jump from one activity to another activity. But how this thing is happening? How Android is allowing us to switching between these activities from one activity to another activity? Okay, so here the scenario we want to understand, like if there are two activities like first and second, then question come, how we will jump from first activity to second activity. Like here we have done from main screen to addition screen. So we are jumping from main screen to addition screen. Or there may be another scenario like we may switch between two applications. So for this I will give you example. So friends, here you can see we have a Chrome browser open. Now if I tab on these three dots and if I click on share, now here in front of us you can see it is showing us different applications with which we will be able to share this link. Now if I tab on messaging, now friends, here you can see we are in now messaging application. So we switch from Chrome to messaging application. This is also another scenario we have to understand. Means you will be able to switch between activities of a single application, or you will be able to switch the activities between different applications. And how this whole thing is happening, how we are switching from one activity to another activity within same application or within different applications. So the answer is concept of intent. So we are able to jump from one activity to another activity within same app or within different app with help of intent concept. So what intent is? So intent is a messaging object which passes between the components So components may be services, component may be activities, component may be content providers, component may be message broadcasters. So how this component will communicate with each other, how this component will pass data to each other. So they will do this with help of concept of intent. So intent is a messaging object. So normally the start activity method is used for invoking any activity. Like we were switching from one activity to another activity. So start method will be used for invoking new activity where we want to jump. So this is the concept of intent, which is used for switching between activities or that may be within the same application or that may be between different applications. Now friends, we will try to discuss for what different purposes we will try to use the intents. So first thing, starting the service. Now what service is exactly? Service is a component that performs operation in a background and it do not have any user interface. So services are running within the background and they are performing certain tasks like downloading a file. So whenever in a Chrome you try to download any file, so that file will get downloaded in a background with help of a service. So for controlling this service, for starting this service, intents can be used. Second use of intent is launching a activity. So as we know, activity represent a single screen within the application and application is a collection of activities. So we will be able to use intents for launching any activity within the application. So example, jumping between the activities like I shown at the start of this video. So we are able to jump from one activity to another activity with help of intent. So launching activity is another use of intent. Then third one, displaying the web page. So in activity we will be able to open a web page with help of intent. So during practical session I will demonstrate how we can open a web page using the activity, using the intent. Next use is message broadcasting. So broadcast is a message that any app can receive within the Android operating system. So the system delivers various broadcast messages for different system events like whenever system boot or whenever critical battery remaining. These are all the system events. So the system actually delivers different messages in this case to different applications. So message broadcasting also achieved with help of intents. Then intents can be used for passing data between activities. So one activity can send data to another activity and another activity can process that data. Okay, so such data passing between activities can be done with help of intent. So I am going to show you at the end of this video how one activity is passing data to another activity with help of intent. Okay, so these are all the general usage of intents, for what purpose we can use intent within the application. So first use was starting service, second use launching activity, third use displaying web page or opening a web page, fourth one message broadcasting, and last one passing data between the activities. So this is a process of taking user from one application to another, and how it is achieved. So it is achieved by passing intent to the system. So intent is like a message that Android operating system try to listen, and according to that message it react by identifying and invoking the appropriate application, the appropriate component. So it may be activity, it may be service, it may be content provider, or it may be message broadcasters. So according to the message, Android will try to present user different components. So user will be able to select whatever component he want. Now here the important point regarding intent we have to understand. So at the start of video we learn that intents are useful for switching between activities. So activity may be part of same application or it may be part of some another application as well. So if multiple applications are capable of responding to the message, to the intent, then Android will provide the list of all components, all applications from which user will be able to select. So whenever we try to share a link from Chrome browser, then it present all the available applications through which we will be able to share a link. Okay, that is example where multiple applications will be capable for responding to the message. Okay, so understand here and remember that the activities with which user is jumping or switching may be part of same application or may be part of different application as well. Now let's try to understand what different methods are available with the intent. So basically here we are going to discuss three different methods that are available with the intent. First method is the start activity, second method is the start service, and third method we are going to see send broadcast. So let's try to see the first method, start activity. So this method is used for launching a new activity or get an existing activity to be in action. So as we learn, intents are used for switching between activities. So this is a method we will use for switching from one activity to another activity. So this method is defined on the context object. So name of object is context object. Okay, so this is the first method and we are going to discuss this method in our example, start activity method, and this method requires the object of intent class as a parameter. Okay, now the activities which are started by other activities, so such activities are called sub activities. So we have seen in example there were main screen and from main screen we were jumping to addition screen. So here that addition screen is a example of sub activity. Okay, now next method we have a start service. Now as we discuss in the functions of intent, we can start a service with help of intent. So service do not have any GUI and they are keep running in a background and they are performing certain task in a background. Okay, so to start a service, intent can be used. And third function we have send broadcast. So this function is used for delivering message to all broadcast receivers. These are the three functions or methods that are available with intent. Now next to that we will try to understand now types of intents. Now there are basically two type of intents available. First type is called implicit intent and second type is called explicit intent. Now first of all try to understand what do you mean by implicit intent. So in a implicit intent there is no any specific component specified which is to be invoked on certain user action. So Android will present list of all possible components or applications that can work with the intent or message. So for example, sharing a link from Chrome browser. Now friends, here on screen you can see there is a Chrome browser open, and now if we tab on these three dots, and now if I tab on this share button, now friends, here you can see it is presenting all possible applications or components that will be able to share a link. Such kind of intent is called implicit intent. So here in Chrome browser, it is not specified specifically which component, which application will be used for a sharing link. So it will be totally depend on user what application he will select here in order to share the link. So such kind of intent is called implicit intent. So where no specific component will be specified, Android will simply present the list of application which can perform the specified action. So here it will be depend on user with what application he want to share a link. So if we select messaging, now you can see we switch from Chrome browser to messaging app. Okay. So this kind of intent is called implicit intent, where there will be no any specific component specified. Now let's try to understand the second type of intent, that is explicit intent. Now in explicit intent, contrast to implicit intent, specific component will be specified like activity. So which is to be open whenever user will try to interact with GUI. So for example, jumping from one activity to another activity whenever user will click on a button. So again I will show you the example of explicit intent here. And now friends, here you can see on screen, this is a main screen we have with 4 buttons available. Now whenever I am tabbing on first button, addition, now this second activity is getting open in front of us. So here in this explicit intent, it is clearly specified which component will get open. Like here we have specified this addition screen. So this is one activity which will get open whenever we are tabbing on addition button. So such kind of intents are called explicit intent, where explicitly user will specify what's supposed to be happen whenever user will click on certain button. Okay, so you may specify activity which will get open, you may specify any service, or you may use message broadcasters as well. This is example of explicit intent. So these are the two types of intents we have, implicit intent and explicit intent. So in case of implicit intent, there will be no any specific component specified, whereas in case of explicit intent, explicitly user will specify the component that should get in action. Now first type we have implicit intent. Now regarding implicit intent, we understood that there is no any specific component specified. So whenever we just have to tell what action we want to perform without worrying which component will perform it, then such kind of intent is called implicit intent. So it will be totally depend on Android operating system. So user will be presented with the list of available component or application, and from this available component or application, user will select specific application in order to complete the intended action. So example we have already seen. So whenever sharing a link through the Chrome browser, it is presenting the list of different applications through which we will be able to share a link. Okay, now what will be the example of this implicit intent? So opening a web page. So how we will open a web page using intent? So first of all, here we will create the object of intent. So intent, this will be the name of object, any name you can specify here, new intent, and here we are specifying the action view. So this will be used for opening a web page. And next to that, we are calling the method called setData, and within this setData, using the method of this URI, that is parse, we are passing the URL over here, google.com. So Next to that, you can see here we are invoking the start activity method of intent, and it requires the object of intent. So here you can see intent is a object which we are passing to the start activity. So what will happen here? It will simply open the google.com web page. So this is how we can implement the implicit intent. Now I will take you to the Android Studio and we will try to implement this code. Okay, so here we will create one new project and I will select this empty activity. So name of my app will be intent demo, and next to that here we will select the jelly bean as a minimum SDK, and remaining thing I will keep as it is. So simply click on finish. Now friends, it will take certain time in order to get this Gradle sync. So I will come back whenever this whole thing will complete.